Alright, team, let's do it. Another solo dungeon black zone ganking build to use. My favorite one, Carrioncaller. It's not the most OP one, but it's a great one. Nice and cheap, good damage, no CC, but something that I like to call, like, I don't know, artificial CC, I would call it. So, we're just gonna hop right into the build, and then I have a few clips to show you guys, and we'll just get a good analysis of them, and I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking when I'm doing them. Alright, let's get into the build. Alright guys, to start off the build, we'll start off with the head. First option, Guardian Helmet. Great for the heal, in my opinion, OP spell. Hope it doesn't get nerfed, use it while it lasts. Second option, Hunter Hood. Retaliate, love that spell. Two things it does: gives you reflect, does massive damage if the opponent doesn't know what they're doing, or if they have to hit you. And two, it gives you a lot of defense. You take no damage when this thing is on, unless you're literally fighting 3 people. If you're fighting 2 people, no damage. Alright, onto the chest. Mercenary Jacket. Great jacket, bloodlust is awesome. Stacks with your bleed, so you passively pretty much apply bleed with your skills on this build. If you just press R while people are bleeding, you will heal. Every tick, you get like 50 health. It's awesome. Okay? Other than that, if you are running like a 2-man group and you have a healer, Stalker Jacket for Electric Field would not be bad. That's a lot of extra damage, especially if like you're chasing somebody down with Bloodlust, or not Bloodlust, sorry, Wanderlust with Soldier Boots, and you're able to stay in the proximity for Electric Field. Alright, and shoes are pretty simple. You have 2 options here. You have Run, which would be any leather boot, or you have Wanderlust on Soldier Boots, which is actually what I use throughout this whole video. Alright guys, even though I don't use capes in this video, we'll talk about them, because some people do like using them. First cape of choice, Throught cape. Good for the extra damage. You get that auto attack electric stuff, that's some good stuff. An extra like 200 damage. You have a Fort Sterling cape, that's your second option. Getting CC with this build is kind of bad because you want to be able to chase people around and keep applying bleed. Third option is Martlock cape. Pretty good for the defense, good survivability. I would probably go Fort Sterling over this because avoiding CC is sort of important with this build. But if you go Martlock, that wouldn't be too bad either. Okay, and you guys can see what abilities I use on my Carrioncaller now. And sometimes I switch the W to Raging Blades. If you can get those extra 10 stacks off for the extra damage, that's always great. I'll switch that in 1v2 situations. I understand if most people don't have that, as that requires 70 spec and the axes. Alright guys, we're going to hop right into the clips right now. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe for more PvP content. Also, these clips were recorded live at twitch.tv/coolkumquat, so if you guys want to see me live there, go in and leave a follow there. Thanks guys. Alright guys, so for the first clip I run into a 1v2 here. Before we run into the fight, I want to mention what food I'm using here. For this clip I'm using damage food. The more and more I use this, the more and more I like to use cooldown food. Mainly because you're able to get your Qs and your Ws off better, and get more bleeds off as you keep going through the fight. So if you paid attention there, I just switched to my W. It was one of the rare times that I actually remembered to switch to Raging Blades in a 2v1 situation. Like I mentioned in the build, it's super good if you get 10 stacks off with that. So I inspected both of these guys, or I'm about to inspect this second guy actually, and I noticed that they both have CC. So my main priority here is to just get them together, and then hopefully they use both their CC builds here at the same time. The other guy has Black Hands, which is just a knockback and kind of like a interrupt for my bloodlust, or it like makes it so that way my bloodlust isn't there. So what I did there is I just waited for them to get together. The one guy engaged, and then I had a window to hit my W, and I was just able to get so many stacks off of them. I'm pretty sure I got all 10 off. And so another thing to note with this fight is with most fights with the Carrioncaller, you're using the second W, I believe. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's the one where if people are moving, they take extra bleed damage. Since I'm not using it here, it doesn't really matter if these guys are running or not. They're just running from me and I'm running after them, and I'm just hoping that I survive with my cooldowns. So here you can see I get pretty low. I have retaliate up right now. I just used it, so it's looking pretty bad for me. But if you notice, I just almost have my bloodlust up, and I have it up right now. So I engage it, I hit R, and then I just use as many spells as I can and get my healing up. And once that happened, the fight was pretty much over. This guy couldn't do anything. Alright guys, for this clip, I want to talk about Guardian Helmet usage. So, there's a few ways to use the Guardian Helmet. You always want to make sure before you fight people, you inspect people and know what you're fighting against. And in some cases, you want to use the Guardian Helmet right away. And in other cases, you want to wait for some kind of dot to come on. So for example, right now, you can see me use a Guardian Helmet as soon as I can. So that way I can get it on cooldown, so that way it'll be up as fast as possible. You want to use it right away, so that way you can just keep spamming it throughout the fight. This fight was pretty simple. I'm using the W that I usually use, the one that I don't know the name of still. And I just constantly applied bleeding on this one. It was a pretty easy fight. All I had to do was make sure that I didn't get stacked with a stun and then damage on top. I believe the one guy had, I don't even think it was a warbow, I think it was a longbow, which can do some damage with auto attacks. But the claymore guy wasn't able to get his stun off in a good time. And I was just able to apply bleeding over and over again and do enough damage to kill him. Okay guys, so for the last clip I got a open world PvP Clown Fiesta that I actually ended up dying at the end of, but I got 2 kills in it. So we'll just go through this. During this clip I want to talk about 2 things, one that's sort of related to the clip and one that's sort of not. I guess we'll talk about the non-related thing since the sort of related thing comes later. So this build has something that I kind of mentioned earlier that I like to call artificial CC. It's with the W that I have up right now. And what that W does is when you apply its bleed, when people move, it does extra damage, more than what it usually does if they're just standing still. So this can be used in a few ways. One way it can be used is for chase, and another way it can be used is actually for escape. Most of the time, I feel like people don't really know what it does or what's happening when you apply this ability because they usually do just run around and take massive amounts of damage. But that's all I have for that, I guess. We'll talk about the chasing mechanics now. So I'm in the middle of chasing this guy. I pop my bloodlust or my wanderlust, and then I pop my or I keep trying to apply W stacks on him, right? Because he's running away from me, and as he runs away from me, he'll keep taking bleed damage. And I guess I'll mention the way that you want to use your wanderlust when you're chasing somebody like this with this build is you actually want to kind of run in front of them when you're chasing them. You do this because all your abilities that you use, or at least the main ones, your Q and your W, they actually have an AoE that goes behind you. So if you're in front of people, you're obviously going faster than them, and it's easier for you to catch them because they're running into you. And while they're running into you, you just press whatever you want and do massive amounts of damage to them. So at the end here, I just show a little bit of the wanderlust, what it can do to escape, and then I go full smooth brain mode and decide to faceplant into these 2 people and kill myself. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you if you watched to the end. Once again, if you liked the video, like and subscribe. And most of these clips were recorded on twitch.tv/coolkumquat. So if you want to see more, leave a follow there if you want. Thanks, guys. Bye.